Good evening and thank you for staying tuned with African News 24 TV, your premier source for timely updates from across the continent and beyond. I'm Mary Adam bringing you the latest developments in politics, sports and more. First, the headlines. Former presidential candidate of the PDP Atiku Abubakar warns against verbal attacks on former Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi. U.S. mission in Nigeria pays tribute to the late Imam Abdullahi Abubakar, hailing his legacy of promoting religious tolerance. NDLEA says over 77,000 drug offenders across Nigeria over the past 5 years. Now to the crux of the bulletin. We begin this hour in politics, as former vice president and PDP presidential candidate in 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar has warned that verbal attacks against Labour Party's former presidential candidate Peter Obi threaten opposition unity and undermine Nigeria's democratic interest. Atiku issued the warning in a post on X in reaction to rising exchanges among supporters of key opposition figures within the emerging coalition. According to him, any attack on either leader weakens the opposition and benefits the ruling party. The former vice president added that internal division only serves the interest of the All Progressives Congress, which he described as the main beneficiary of infighting within the opposition. Atiku stressed that unity and cooperation among opposition leaders and supporters remain critical to advancing national development and strengthening democratic governance. Still in politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission has cautioned Nigerians against a purported timetable for the 2027 general elections, currently circulating on social media and other platforms, describing it as false and misleading. INEC in a statement clarified that it had not released any official timetable or schedule of activities for the 2027 elections, stressing that the document in circulation did not emanate from the Commission. The electoral body urged political parties, aspirants, civil society organizations, the media, and the general public to disregard the fake timetable and rely on only information published through INEC's official website and verified social media handles. And to security, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has assured residents of Plateau states of increased military deployment and sustained operations to curb ongoing insecurity in the state. Oluyede gave the assurance during an operational visit to Plateau today, where he met with senior military officers and other security stakeholders to assess the security situation and ongoing operations in troubled areas. He said additional troops and equipment will be deployed to reinforce existing forces, stressing that the Nigerian Army remains committed to restoring peace and protecting lives and property across Plateau and other parts of the country affected by violence. Meanwhile, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it has arrested 77,792 drug offenders and seized over 14,847 tons of illicit drugs across Nigeria in the last 5 years. NDLEA Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, was speaking in Abuja at the agency's comments, awards and commendation ceremony. Marwa said the operations disrupted local and transnational drug trafficking networks, adding that 128 identified drug barons were arrested, while 14,225 convictions were secured during the period. He noted that beyond enforcement, over 32,000 drug users benefited from counseling and rehabilitation programs, alongside nationwide sensitization campaigns under the War Against Drug Abuse initiative. Still on security and safety, the National Youth Service Corps has issued a travel advisory Two Badge Airstream 1 corps members, warning them against late-night travel to their orientation camps. The NYSC emphasized that corps members should only travel during the daytime due to increased security and road safety risks. In a statement, the NYSC advised prospective corps members to use registered transport companies and approved motor parks to reduce exposure to unsafe travel conditions. They were also urged to share the live location with family members or trusted contacts and speak up if drivers engage in speeding or reckless driving. The orientation course is scheduled to commence nationwide on January 21, and the NYSC has warned that any corps member who embarks on unauthorized journeys will face sanctions. In other news, the U.S. mission has paid tribute to the late Imam Abdullahi Abubakar, hailing his legacy of promoting religious tolerance and peaceful coexistence. The Imam, who passed away on January 15, 2026, at the age of 90, was a symbol of courage and compassion, saving 262 Christians from a violent massacre in 2018. Imam Abdullahi's selfless act has been recognized globally, earning him the International Religious Freedom Award from the United States government in 2019. The Christian Association of Nigeria has also mourned the Imam's passing, describing him as a rare, moral, brave, and selfless individual who stood firmly on the side of humanity. President Bola Tinubu has echoed these sentiments, praising the Imam's courage and compassion. Welcome to Business News. Nigeria's banking sector is facing a surge in loan defaults, with non-performing loans rising to 7% in 2025, exceeding the prudential limit of 5%. The Central Bank of Nigeria attributes this increase to the withdrawal of regulatory forbearance measures introduced during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the CBN's Credit Conditions Survey, default rates on secured loans increased in the third quarter of 2025, while unsecured loan defaults decreased. Small businesses and households are among the most affected, with many struggling to repay loans due to economic pressures, inflation, and high interest rates. Despite the rise in defaults, banks have increased credit availability, driven by improved economic outlooks for secured and corporate lending. From banking to the oil sector, Nigeria's non-oil exports have reached an unprecedented milestone, hitting an all-time high of $6.1 billion in 2025, marking an 11.5% year-on-year increase. According to the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the country's non-oil exports have expanded to 281 products, spanning agricultural commodities, processed and semi-processed goods, industrial inputs, and solid minerals. The top performing non-oil exports for the year include cocoa and its derivatives, urea, cashew, sesame seed, gold ore, aluminum ingots, copper ingots, soybean and meal, and rubber. The Netherlands, Brazil, and India emerged as the top three destinations for Nigeria's non-oil exports, accounting for 17.53%, 10.35%, and 7.63% of total exports, respectively. And on the foreign scene, Malawi has increased fuel prices for the second time in 4 months, in a move aimed at preventing shortages and conserving foreign exchange. The country's energy regulator announced on Tuesday, January 2026, that petrol prices were raised by nearly 42% to 4,965 kwacha per litre, while diesel rose by about 41% to 4,945 kwacha per litre. Authorities said the adjustment was necessary to ensure steady fuel imports and curb smuggling linked to artificially low prices. The price hike comes as President Peter Mutharika's administration works to stabilize the economy, negotiate support from the International Monetary Fund, and rebuild foreign reserves following prolonged fuel shortages. Germany and France have vowed not to be intimidated by US President Donald Trump's tariff threat over Greenland. German Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil stated, quote, "We Europeans must make it clear the limit has been reached," while French Finance Minister Roland Lescure described the US move as blackmail between allies of 250 years. The EU is considering retaliatory measures, including tariffs on $107.7 billion of US imports and the anti-coercion instrument, which could limit US access to public tenders and restrict trade in services. EU leaders will discuss option at emergency summit in Brussels on Thursday. Welcome to sports. The Africa Cup of Nations tournaments may have come and gone, but it's still generating controversy and debate. To talk more about the just concluded African Cup of Nations in Morocco, we have Rejoice UZOANYA joining us. Rejoice is a sports analyst. He joins us virtually. Good evening, Rejoice. Did you watch the Afcon final between Senegal and Morocco? What did you think of the way it ended?
I think he ended fine. Well, obviously there were a few issues here and there, particularly the part of the Senegalese players and the coach leaving the game because of, issues with the ref and his calls during the game and all of that. But at least they came back. They came back out. They finished the game. So I think overall the game was a really good one. It ended well. It was a very memorable final. Yeah, it was a very memorable Afcon final. So yeah, I think it ended well. Of course, yes, I did.
Football refereeing has a serious problem that needs fixing.
I wouldn't say they're bad. No, they are not bad. They don't have any serious problem per se. But I feel like they could do better in some areas. Yeah, they could do better of areas. They have to be more fair. They have to be a lot fair and transparent. Because throughout this tournament, we saw some of the refereeing calls that I would say went in the favor of the hosts. That's Morocco. And we saw it happen over and over and over again. To the point where I think some of us even felt that, okay, maybe the Moroccans were trying to buy the tournament or something. So yeah, that wasn't fair. I think African refereeing has to do a lot better in that aspect, giving us fair play and transparency. They are trying, to be fair, all things considered, but they could do better, particularly in that area of transparency and fair play.
All right, do you think CAF handled the whole situation well?
But yes. I think they did. In fact, the entire tournament, all the work that went into organizing this entire Afcon 2025/2026 tournament was top. Was really top. They did well, and even the final, yeah, everything went good. So yeah, I think they handled the whole situation well. And going forward, any decision they make, we'll just have to, trust them, because so far I think they've done a good job throughout the tournament, the end of the tournament. I think they've done it.
Thank you, Rejoice. We've been speaking with Rejoice UZOANYA, a sports analyst. Welcome to entertainment. The family of late Afro-Fuji singer Afis Adishino, popularly known as Destiny Boy, has revealed details surrounding his death, even as his father appealed to the public for help to locate the artist's missing SUV days after his passing. Destiny Boy died on Sunday, January 18, 2026, at the age of 22 years, following complications linked to a long-term illness. His mother, Saida, disclosed that the singer has been battling a condition locally referred to as Ugoru, which caused recurrent seizures and sudden health episodes. According to her, the family managed the illness privately for years, consulting medical professionals, clerics, and traditional healers. She said his condition worsened shortly after his child's naming ceremony when he suffered another seizure and was rushed to the hospital. Despite efforts to stabilize him, he eventually passed away. Saida dismissed rumors circulating on social media that her son was involved in money rituals, stressing that such claims were false and insensitive. She explained that the family chose to keep his illness away from the public due to his celebrity status, while continuing to seek solutions to fully cure him. Meanwhile, the Ogun State Police Command has confirmed that a suspect has been arrested in connection with Destiny Boy's death as investigations continue. Destiny Boy rose to fame in 2019 with his Fuji-style cover of Davido's hit song If, and remained a prominent figure among young Nigerian music fans. His death has sparked widespread reactions online, with fans and colleagues mourning his loss while calling for clarity over the circumstances surrounding his passing and the missing vehicle. That's all for now. Thank you for your company. For more updates on these stories and others, please visit our website at africannews24.ng. Follow us on all the social media platforms to stay informed and ahead. I'm Mary ADIM. Good evening.